The Level Lock Plus with Apple HomeKey compatibility up next. Welcome and thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ray, and if you could do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, tap the bell to get notified when I post new content, and if you find this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate it. So today's the day that the Schlage Encode Plus is no longer the only game in town if you're looking for a Apple HomeKey compatible smart lock, because today brings us a new offering from Level, and that is the Level Lock Plus. So in a past video, I took a look at the Level Lock Touch, which I believe this is going to be very similar to, although this will have the extra added ability to use Apple HomeKey. And Apple HomeKey seems to be the new hotness right now. Everyone wants a smart lock with that. And all we've had up until this point is the Schlage Encode Plus. There are some users who don't really like the look of the Schlage Encode Plus or don't really want or need a keypad. So this is the lock for them, or for you if you're watching. Level is known for making minimal locks. They do offer a keypad that you have to purchase separately if you need one, but if you don't, then you will just need the Level Lock Plus, and then you'll have Apple HomeKey goodness. So if you're looking for a smart lock that doesn't scream smart lock, then Level has you covered with this Level Lock Plus. I'm really excited to see this on the door, so let's get to it with the unboxing. So here's the box and packaging for the Level Lock Plus. And they are the invisible smart lock, and this one is satin nickel, and we have the all-important works with Apple Home badge right there. Level lock on the plus, on the top. So here's the compatibility checklist. You want to make sure your backset length is of 2 3/8 and 2 3/4. Your door thickness is 1 3/4 to 2 inches. You have an ANSI standard 2 1/8 inch bore hole diameter, and this is compatible with iOS devices. See on the back, we have the box contents, the Level Lock Plus itself, a CR2 battery to power it, 2 strike plates, and to note, the 2 strike plates is important because the Level Lock Touch had a longer strike plate that worked mostly with outdoor doors, but interior doors needed a smaller strike plate that you had to purchase on the level.com website. This one comes with it, so that's a good inclusion there. 2 key cards, 2 physical keys, and 6 screws. And that's the hardware. Some points of interest: it's impossibly small. You can unlock with a phone or Apple Watch with Apple HomeKey. It's compatible with Apple Home, guest sharing, more ways to access your home, because this also has the functionality of the Level Touch, and strength you can trust. It's certified AAA by BHMA and meets the highest standards for security. And this thing costs $329, which is on par with, or actually a little more expensive than the other Apple HomeKey compatible smart lock, the Schlage Encode Plus, which goes for about $300. So this is about $30 more. So you pay for that stealthiness. And the other end, the end you open, says home starts here. So let's go ahead and get this open. So nice packaging. Level does really good packaging. Well, if you're gonna pay that much, you better expect great packaging. So home starts here. This is probably the key cards, and it is. You get 2 of them, and their literature here, and instructions. And I think now's the perfect time to take the opportunity to remind you that if you're gonna install any smart lock, to make sure that the lock turns freely. Because if it doesn't, if there's resistance, there is a good chance that that smart lock will jam or show non-responsive. Set this aside, and here is the Level Lock Plus. This looks to be the hardware in this box. Oh, it's the battery and the screws that they have, and an extra, I think, cap for this. There's one on there already. This is the back of the lock. Here we have the important part, the motor for the lock. Really nice and compact. This is the deadbolt itself. And the part with the key. If you've installed a smart lock, all these parts look familiar, although this one again is minimal, so there is no keypad with this one. I believe that's it. So really here are your Level Lock Plus parts to install the smart lock. And again, pretty straightforward if you installed one of these before. Really not difficult. Most people can probably handle this install. So let's go ahead and get this on the door right now and set it up. So here's the mortise in the door jamb, and for this they actually give you 2 plates. And that's great because before they only included the long one in the box and you had to order this separately. Since these two look like to be the same part exactly, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I'm not going to install this, but install the size appropriate for your door. So with the existing lock removed, we can go ahead and install the Level Lock Touch, and we can start with the deadbolt itself. And one thing I wanted to show you about this is this will accommodate 2 different lengths. Right now, this is the default. It comes in the S, or I'm assuming short position. It also has a L for long position. So all you have to do if you wanted to make this longer is there is a kind of button here. If you can see that you can press, and I'm just going to use you can use anything, a nail. I have this screw bit. Push it in, and as you're pushing it in, you pull on the back part of it, and then there it's longer. Now to accommodate that, as you can see, the deadbolt is sunken in. You can push it out. By pushing that out, you can remove this default cap and use the secondary cap they give you in the box, which is this one. And now in a closed position, that will be able to make contact with the motor. So that's how you elongate the deadbolt itself. But mine is short for default, and that's the default size, so that's what I'm going to use. So also on this, if you notice, and maybe you can see it, there is an arrow pointing up, and up here it says top. So you want to keep that in mind when you install this. And you attach it with included screws. So now we're going to install this part, and this part fits in here like a puzzle. Let me get a better view for you guys. So hopefully you can see that little tab in there now, and this part will fit into it like a puzzle piece right there. So if this is sticking out, make sure you push it in before you slide this piece in. And once that's all the way in, there's a little screw here that you need to tighten to secure. And with that part installed, we can install the front and the back. So here is the front of the lock, and I'm going to go ahead and place these parts through here on the other side. And once those come out, you can see this kind of tongue sticking out here. This is the back thumb screw. You just remove the front here. Remove the protective backing. And you want to ensure that this tongue here goes into this slot right there, and that the screw holes line up. And once the screw holes are lined up, you can fasten everything with the included screws. Now all that's left to do is to reattach the thumb turn. Little hole part goes down, and there it is. There's the lock. Everything turns freely as it should. And now with the lock installed, you just need to install the battery. And they include a Duracell CR2 battery for you. You can hear the confirmation tones. And we're going to lock this up. So let's go ahead and set this up. I'm going to go ahead and open up the app. And since I had a previous level lock, I already had the app installed. And that is the current lock. It's called hallway. It says not in range because the battery's out and it is not in range. So to add the new level lock plus, I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign in the upper right. I'm going to choose add hardware and I'm going to pick level locks. And what would you like to call the name of your lock? Right now I'm just going to call it, let's call it level plus, just because I already have one called hallway. I'll switch the names later. I'm going to choose continue, and it's going to be in the home that I already have registered. Now it's searching for the lock, and there is a lock found. So you can hit that little speaker in the corner to hear the lock, and you see it made the sound, so it identified itself as this level lock. I'm going to do connect with my location. Your lock is now connected to home and is the level plus, and it's been identified. Now it works with Apple HomeKit and Amazon Sidewalk. Let's put in Apple HomeKit because that's why we're here, and add your level plus to HomeKit. And it gives you all the features. I'm going to hit continue. Where's your lock? It is at my home. Couldn't find it. And then do that again. Continue its processing. It says no HomeKit accessory found. Please verify that your device is powered on and try again. Okay, just so you can see the errors I'm getting, let me go back. So right now, let me go ahead and skip HomeKit, since going through the app seems to give it an error. Let's go ahead and look at calibration right now. Let's start the calibration for this. So for now, we're going to go step one. When you are ready, close your door and lock it fully. We're going to go ahead and do that. And with the door closed, it asks us to close your door and lock it fully. Now unlock your door. Finally, lock it fully again. And your level lock has been calibrated. We're going to choose done, and now it shows the level plus in our app. We're going to hold it to unlock it in the app. And now it's unlocked. So now that it's calibrated, let's go ahead and figure out what's going on with the HomeKit. So let's go ahead and go back to this lock. I'm going to choose the settings here, show more, and works with. Choose Apple HomeKit. Let's try that again. Choose my home, hit continue. So it says no HomeKit accessory found again. So I think it's had enough tries doing it this way. Let's go ahead and put it directly into HomeKit now. So let's go ahead and try and add it directly into HomeKit, not in this app. But before we do that, let me show you what's in the app, in the native app. Here you have auto lock and unlock. You can set the door to auto lock after you leave the area, and you can time it between, let's see what it gives you, 30 seconds all the way up to an hour. I don't use that. I don't want to mistakenly lock myself out of my house. Auto unlock, pretty much the same thing. Then you have touch to lock, which I like to use. So I turn that on. I found that very useful, and I usually set it at 3 minutes because I find this is in the garage, and I find when I exit the car, grab all my packages, I just need at least 3 minutes to do that. So I'm gonna hit save changes. Now, if you're past 3 minutes, the touch to unlock stops working. that was touch to lock. Same thing for touch to unlock. And yeah, that's my location, got it. And I'm gonna set it at 3 minutes and save changes. And that's set to 3 minutes as well. Sound is set at medium. I'm gonna leave it at default. It's really loud enough. You can boost range. So if you're finding you're having difficulty connecting, you can hit boost range and it'll amplify the Bluetooth signal. Make sure you know there is you have a phone or a hub device within range, and enabling this will reduce your battery life. I haven't found the need to do this with the level touch, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to enable it with the level plus. And again, works with Apple HomeKit or Amazon Sidewalk. We already found that doesn't work. New app, new lock. I guess it's understandable. Plus, I'm also using beta 16.1 iOS, so that might have something to do with it. There's a calibration where you can calibrate, and then about your lock, and that just gives you the firmware and everything else. Battery, let's go back, battery health, serial number, name of the lock, and that's it. And if you wanted to add a keypad, you can hit the plus and add a keypad for this lock. I don't have a keypad, I don't need one for this lock in particular. So let's go see what's happening with this HomeKit. So since we couldn't set it up in the app and we're having difficulty, let's try and setting it up directly in HomeKit. So we're gonna go ahead and scroll up, hit the plus button and hit add accessory. And it's asking for the HomeKit code. And on the back of this literature, if you remember this, looks familiar, there was a HomeKit code on the back. Scan that code, add to Apple Home. It knows it's a lock. Now it says connecting to lock. There it goes, now lock location. So that's all it needed. It needed to be re-enabled. And we're gonna put this in the hallway. Where's that hallway at? Hallway, we're gonna hit continue. So hopefully my difficulties help you guys when you're installing this. We're gonna call it level lock, and I'm gonna add a plus there. And I'll go ahead and change this back to hallway once I've relocated the older lock. Choose continue, home key. Yep, definitely want home key. And lock automations, I've been through this with the Schlage, and the useful ones for me are when the last person leaves home, we want to lock it. When anyone arrives, we want to unlock. No, we don't. When the last person leaves home, we want to lock. I have that twice, it looks like, right? So I'm gonna enable both of them. And the other one is when level lock plus unlocks, turn on the hallway light. And that was annoying for the Schlage. When I put that on, I had the entry light turn on. I'm not gonna enable that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit continue. And the lock is added to my home. Choose done. So now that we finally got that set up in HomeKit, let's go ahead and find the lock here. And there it is, level lock plus, it is unlocked. Go ahead and hit lock, and the door locks. Now let's go try my favorite part, which is home key, and which I think everyone wants to see and make sure that this lock works with home key. So this didn't give me a setup for home key, and that's probably because I already have a home key enabled lock, the Schlage Encode Plus. So if you want to see the full kind of install of a first home key lock in your home, and it gives you an option for express access, which I have enabled, so that all I have to do is bring my phone up to the lock to unlock it. Go watch that video, and I'll have a link in the description below, and probably you'll see a little card pop up or something up here to show you that. Since again, I've already had that installed, it's not asking me to do that this time. But if you look in my wallet, I do have my key there, and that's my home key. And this key is usually goes by the color of your lock. Since the initial lock, the first lock I installed was a dark colored lock, my key card is dark. So it won't give you separate home keys for separate locks. It'll only give you one home key for all your locks in your home. And that's good. You don't need a proliferation of locks and swiping between them, trying to figure out which home key works with which lock. And let's go ahead and see how that works, test that out. So the Level Lock Plus is locked. Let's go ahead and open up the door with HomeKey. And it's as easy as that. Let's go ahead and lock it again. And unlock it in my favorite way by using the Apple Watch. Just hold the Apple Watch up to the lock. And it locks just like that. Pretty cool. So Level also includes these key cards so that you can use these to open up the lock, much like hotel key cards. So let's go ahead and set one of these up. We'll need the phone for that, and then we'll set it up on our app. So here we go. We're going to hit the icon there for people. We have cards. We're going to hit the plus sign. Ready to scan, hold your phone near the Level card. And found your Level card. Setting it up. Who is this card for? I'm going to make it for myself. Ready? Hit continue. What locks do you want this card to access? Home. And you know, I have it for both the hallway and the Level Plus. I'm going to enable this card for both those locks. So I only need one card to access both those locks. And my old hallway lock, of course, I'm going to relocate that. I'm going to choose Save to Card. And the card has been added. So right now, this is unlocked. I'm going to go ahead and touch to lock. I'm going to use the Level key card here. Just hold it against the lock, and that unlocks it. So these are cool if you want to give these to guests. Maybe if you have children, you can give them this if they don't have an Apple Watch or a phone. But you can also open up your lock with a key, just like you're at a hotel. That's pretty cool. So there's my look at the Level Lock Plus. I actually almost said touch there, and I think the reason I almost said touch is because these locks are very similar hardware-wise. As I was uninstalling my Level Lock Touch, I would compare the hardware, and they are very similar, if not the same part. I don't know. I don't know what's different mechanically that enables Apple HomeKey. Maybe it's the software inside. I'm not sure. I was always hoping that the Level Lock Touch would include Apple HomeKey at some point with maybe a firmware update. So I'm not sure what makes these locks different. Maybe there's something in the engineering that brings Apple HomeKey capability to it. But for the most part, in my experience using it after I set it up, was that they are very, very similar locks, with the one difference of being able to use Apple HomeKey on the new Level Lock Plus. Installing the Level Lock Plus was a piece of cake, very similar to installing the Level Lock Touch. I've installed enough of these smart locks, and I would say that Level locks are probably some of the easiest to install. I think anyone can install it. All you need is a screwdriver. All it requires is fitting the pieces together like a puzzle and tightening a few screws, and you have a smart lock installed. The only thing that you need to worry about is, again, making sure that the lock travels freely within the mortise. Setup for the lock was pretty straightforward in the native app. I did have some issues trying to set up HomeKit within the native app. So I just had to move out into Apple Home and add the accessory there as a HomeKit lock, and it seemed to work from there. Although I did experience some no response issues when first setting it up, but it seemed to be doing some configuration, and after it kind of figured itself out, now it performs just like my Level Lock Touch. Very closely like my Level Lock Touch, actually. It has all the same functions, it just adds Apple HomeKey access. Kind of suspicious that this might be the same hardware with possibly updated firmware to accommodate Apple HomeKey. I don't know. Time will tell if Level updates the current Level Lock Touches with firmware that can enable Apple HomeKey use. We'll see. If it's possible, I hope they do. If it's not, then we're just gonna have to pick up a Level Lock Plus if we want the Apple HomeKey capability. Now, if you already have a Level Lock Touch, is it worth upgrading? To be honest, you're upgrading for Apple HomeKey. That's it. It's the exact same lock. function-wise as a level lock touch. So for where I installed it, I really did want a Apple HomeKey capable lock there. And I didn't want to install another Schlage Encode Plus because I don't need a keypad in the garage to gain access into the home. But I did, again, want to have a Apple HomeKey capable lock. Why? Because although the level lock touch worked great and worked, I'd say 98-99% of the time, there was that 1 or 2% of the time when it wouldn't work. When the touch function wouldn't work, when we returned home and I would reach the lock before that 3-minute setting that I had and would touch it, it would be non-responsive. But I knew the lock was okay because I could go into my Apple Watch or into my iPhone and unlock the lock that way, either by asking Siri or going into the home app itself and unlocking the lock. The other times it wouldn't work, it's because the battery died. And the app really gives you no indication when your battery's going low. All it says, at least when I check, is it says healthy. And the next day I check and the battery's dead. And I know the battery's dead because not only is it unresponsive to touch, I can't access it from my device and it says no response. So I'm like, okay, it's dead. And that's really annoying, I have to say, because I no longer carry physical keys. So when that does happen, I have to reopen the garage if I've closed it, go in through the front door through that Schlage lock, and then go around to the hallway and unlock the door from the inside. And then all I'd have to do would be to swap out the batteries. Once there's a fresh battery in there, everything works as it should. So the level lock touch was and is still a very capable lock, although I do enjoy having Apple HomeKey functionality. So the Level Lock Plus is my new favorite level lock. It's going to be interesting to see what the other competition does. Schlage has their Apple HomeKey capable lock. Level now has its Apple HomeKey capable lock. I'm looking forward to seeing what August does, or what Friday Lock does, or what any of the other smart lock manufacturers do. Will Yale bring Apple HomeKey to their locks? Time will tell. People are buying these things off the shelves quickly. There is consumer interest in Apple HomeKey for smart locks. So I would say those manufacturers better get their products on the shelves, because once people start changing their locks to either Schlage Encode Plus or Level Lock Plus, we don't change locks often. Locks aren't something that we always need to change in a home. So we stick with those for quite a few years. The Schlage I had on the front door, I had it for about 5 to 6 years before I changed it because of really Apple HomeKey access. If Apple didn't offer Apple HomeKey, that lock would still be there. I wouldn't change any of my locks. But now we do want Apple HomeKey function. It's a great way to access the home, and I think it's worth it for the price of admission. So what do you think about this new Level Lock Plus? Are you a Level Lock Touch owner who feels maybe shafted that they didn't just give us a firmware update to enable it? Or are you someone who's looking for a new lock for your home and maybe didn't really like the look or the aesthetic of the Schlage Encode Plus? Let me know in the comments below. And that's going to do it for this one. And until the next time, please take care and be safe out there.